strong Indian delegation from the government side is here in Davos to sell the India story. And who better than Mr. Praful Patel to tell us how hard that task really is. Sir, how difficult is it to sell the India story after the kind of slowdown we've seen?
Well, certainly things are different than what they were maybe 2-3 years ago. Well, at that time, you know, everything about India was like the flavor of the season. But that notwithstanding, I don't think there's anything fundamentally wrong or people are not buying the India story anymore. The fact is that ultimately India is one of the most favored destinations regardless of whatever the economic conditions globally or even within India. And it's of course home to a large market, and we have some good news for the international community, especially with the FDI and
but is that enough? The complacency that seems to have set in, the fact that everyone says, you know what, nobody can afford to ignore India, but that clearly isn't enough. The government needs to do a lot more to attract foreign investors, whether it's institutional investors or FDI. And do you think the India story has taken a beating over the last few years?
Well, I think it's slowed down a little bit, that we cannot ignore. But the fact is that I don't think, you know, that we've oversold India or anything, nothing sort like that. I think India is very much still recognized. And in fact, that's why we are all here, and, you know, to let the world know that we certainly mean business, and India has got strong fundamentals, and everything is not as, you know, people portray about India. And in fact, you know, why are we talking about India? The world has slowed down, and of course everybody recognizes that it has an impact on India too.
But the world slowing down should have been an opportunity for India.
Well, I think, yes, I agree.
An opportunity that we seem to have missed.
No, I agree that, no, I wouldn't say missed, but I certainly think that, you know, we could have done better. And especially in the last 2-3 years, a lot of negativity within our own country set in for various reasons, starting from the 2G and subsequent issues. And I think basically what I really feel is where we've not been up to the mark is that on infrastructure.
Right.
I think whether it be power, whether it be other related infrastructure, whether it be roads, whether it be many other things, I think, you know, the momentum we had, somewhere for some reason, I think we lost track of our speed, and that's where I think that aberration has been one of the reasons why, as you said, that, you know, we've not done right enough. While the world could have slowed down, India should not have slowed down the same way.
Right.
And I think that correction is coming.
Right.
But it is, of course, certainly you have to acknowledge the truth.
I'm glad you're at least admitting and not in a denial mode like what many policy makers, many within the government always seem to be in this denial mode and always saying that, you know what, we're doing much better than the rest of the world, so that's enough. Do you see all these issues really playing up on a global platform like Davos? Do people express concerns about how badly India is slowing down, about policy paralysis, or even about other issues, whether it is corruption or women's safety?
No, well, I think coming to women's safety first, I think certainly, you know, I mean, I was also very surprised. I was in the football headquarters, FIFA, this morning, and, you know, one of the key discussion points was, you know, the sad incident in Delhi.
Right.
And that, I'm sure, has caught the world's imagination. But that's not something people look at it as negatively towards India. I think it's a societal issue. Everybody thinks, you know, everywhere in the world, these are issues which need to be addressed. But that notwithstanding, on the other side, I think certainly people did feel that, you know, India could have been a little bit more fast-track in the last few years. And I think, but it's not that there's confidence has been lost. You know, I think that would be too extreme a situation where we feel that people have lost confidence.
And that clearly hasn't happened. You're saying we're on the right track. We're now building that confidence, but many also worry that the political window of opportunity is now a narrow one. We've lost that precious time, and there's very limited time left within the UPA government to cover up for all that lost ground.
Well, yes and no, because of course as you go closer to an election, things change and everybody looks at it politically and doesn't want to take the hard decisions in the last leg of the government. But at the same time, I think in spite of that, you look at the major decisions which have been taken in the last 6 months, right from FDI to the diesel price decontrol almost, and to various other tough decisions. I think even on fiscal deficit issues, the finance minister has been taking a very proactive line to see that it's contained and we don't get downgraded. So a lot of things. I think it's been not so easy for the government to take such decisions, especially at this time. You're right. They should have been taken much earlier,
right.
and for the impact to wear off. But I don't think if you look at it, even when the rail fares were hiked recently,
sure.
and when the earlier railway minister had hiked the fares in the budget, in fact, when he was asked to leave office, I think there was a reaction in the people that
right.
why shouldn't the fares be increased?
Right.
So I don't think there's only that kind of negativity in the minds of the people, but certainly it does take a lot of courage, and I would say to some extent, may not be politically as astute as the decision taken 1 year earlier.
Right, so tough political decisions is something that we'll have to wait and see whether that momentum continues or not. But you believe that the people understand the need for those tough decisions, whether it's a diesel price hike or a railway fare hike, and political parties across the spectrum, including allies, do understand and back the government on some of these tough decisions.
We've always been a very responsible
sure.
party in terms of understanding what's good for the country. And to a large extent, we have gone out to support every initiative of the government, and we are part of it, so we can't be in a,
right.
in a dual state of mind. But that notwithstanding, I think in the overall context of the country, there are, distinctly 2-3 sides, or I wouldn't say 2-3 sides of a coin, but there are 2-3 different spectrums,
sure.
which we should look at India's, needs. And if you look at the middle class, I think they have been hurt the hardest because they have very little flexibility. They have fixed incomes, and whether it's price rise or any other hikes in whether it's diesel or otherwise, it does impact them. Or the LPG, the cap which was reduced earlier. But on the other side, look at the farmers of India.
Right.
They have been much better off than what they were in the, say, 10 years ago, and more disposable incomes in their hands. There's so much, in my constituency, I would never have imagined we had a paddy growing area. Today farmers say, we want to, watermelons. They're exporting them from there. It's in the middle of India, not even near a port, but they're exporting them. So,
but on the other side of the spectrum, there's also the farmer suicides that are happening. So, are you saying this part of the story is the story that's not getting highlighted? The fact that the overall living conditions of farmers have really improved, and even though we've seen higher inflation, this is something which is the positive side, the brighter
aspect.
India is
a large country. You can't expect everybody to be painted with the same brush, or everything, the accrual of any gains to reach every single beneficiary. But that notwithstanding, a large part of India's farmers have gained and benefited in the last couple of years. Not only that, I would say that the rural landscape, there have been many schemes of the government. Ultimately, those impact of those schemes do reach out to rural India.
Right.
Even if somebody earns 100 rupees or 150 rupees a day by way of wages in Manrega or any other schemes which of the government, ultimately that benefit will trickle down to the market, will trickle down to the overall buying power in the rural economy.
So we do see that happening. Let me talk quickly about the political temperatures back home in Delhi that seem to be heating up clearly. We've seen Rahul Gandhi's elevation as the vice president. We've seen BJP finally just making up its mind on the president, Rajnath Singh be elected. Your thoughts on some of these very critical political developments?
Well, I think, Rahul Gandhi's elevation was just a matter of time, because it was being talked about for the last couple of years. So, good for the Congress party, at least,
And he is the PM in waiting in many ways.
Well, I think it's their call, and we don't want to get into the issues of the Congress party. But that apart, I think clarity on future succession, for any political party, if it has been put to rest, and especially when it comes to the Congress or even the BJP, ultimately, these are the two poles on which the other political parties will, go around. And therefore, it's important to see, clarity in the two political sides, so that, everybody's, future conduct will be played out on the basis of what happens to these two major political parties. So, in a way, yes, Rahul Gandhi's elevation is something which is the Congress has put all speculation to rest. Now, how things pan out in the future, because India for sure, I mean, not because I am an ally of the UPA.
But is the ally happy with that decision?
No, how are we concerned? I mean, we are
because
happy.
we're looking at 2014 already.
We are happy in a way that all right, the Congress has taken a decision. As far as we are concerned, we are part of the UPA.
Right.
And one thing is certain: no matter what anybody would say, the fact of Indian politics is and will remain for a long time to come is a coalition state.
And an even more fractured verdict in 2014 is what many expect.
Well, while we hope not, you can't escape
Rule
the
it out in
inevitable.
time.
And it does look like that the kind of the political play which we'll see in future will probably lead to a much more fractured polity.
All right, right now, of course, the big focus remains the economy and bringing the economy back on track, and of course, selling the India story, something you're going to do here over the next few days. Thanks so much for sparing time to talk to us, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
India's #1 news app just got even better. Download NDTV's new app. Fully optimized for Retina display. Full screen view. Faster response time. And Sudoku. NDTV's new iPad app. Download now.